it is. What's happening? So finally got the Project Bronco outside. Got all the brakes finished up. Got all the brake lines made, bled. I made all new battery cables for it. Now this isn't the right battery I'm going to use. This is just one I had stuck in the truck to get it running so we could diagnose some other problems this thing had. So I had several problems. Truck wouldn't start. It would start. Let me rephrase that. It would start, but you had to hold the key over, and he had a push button on the dash to crank it. And you couldn't let off of the key or it would shut off. He also had the wipers hot wired. He said they would stop working. Well, obviously I wanted to crank and start with the key and not a push button and all these switches on the dash. So it turned out we had a bad ignition switch. So that was part of our problem. That took care of our no power to like certain things in the truck that didn't work unless you turn this toggle switch on. So now our wipers work like they're supposed to, but we still had a no crank condition. Well, we found that the little wire that goes on the solenoid here, right here, was broke off. So we thought that was it, but it turns out it has a bad neutral safety switch. Not the end of the world. So since eventually we're going, sometime down the road, we're going to put a 460 and a ZF 5-speed in this Bronco, I decided to go underneath, just double check, but we had a bad neutral safety switch, and I just took and looped the wire on the connector side so that now it'll crank. So now it starts and runs by the key like it's supposed to. I still need to make up, I made up new battery cables here, and you know, there's a little, some guys are talking about, it's been a topic on some of the other channels that I watch and some of the TikTok channels I watch. Guys are going back and forth about you shouldn't solder them, you should crimp them, don't crimp them, solder them. Guys are going back and forth with what to do. Now here's the thing. This terminal right here that my finger's on, you can buy this from Napa. It already has solder and flux and everything already in there. So all you have to do is strip your insulation back, heat this up, shove her in there, let her cool off. And then if you want, put a piece of shrink wrap on it. They've been making them like this for years. Now, a lot of guys are talking about they want to crimp them because they say the solder, the terminal will get hot and the solder will melt. Now follow me for a second. I'll agree to that for one moment. You're right. If the terminal gets hot enough, it could get hot enough to melt the solder and the connection can go away. But here's the thing. If your battery terminal is getting hot enough to melt the solder, you have other issues. You have a bad starter, you have bad ground, you got other things going on you need to worry about instead of a soldered terminal. I have been using these terminals to repair battery cables for years, and I've never once had an issue. I would much rather have these things soldered than some crimp that's going to let all the water and condensation and garbage get in there and corrode it and make a crappy connection down the road that you're going to fight a problem over when you could have just, in my opinion, fixed it the right way. So, and why would they sell them with solder, flux already ready to go if it's not an appropriate fix? It's an appropriate fix. It's fine. There's been a lot of talk lately for some reason about whether or not to solder or crimp. It's been going back and forth on TikTok and some of the other guys that I watch on here on YouTube that I watch. And you know, everybody's got their own opinion how to do it. I have been doing them this way for over 30 years. I have my 93 F450 rollback with a 7.3 diesel. I repaired the battery cables in that truck probably 15 years ago with these same exact solder-ons, and I've never, ever had a problem out of that truck. I think I've put batteries in it twice. The last set of batteries I had in there were in there for 10 years, and I don't know how they lasted 10 years. I have no idea. But I had a set of batteries that were in that truck for 10 years. I couldn't believe, when they finally went bad, I went, I can't even be mad. I can't. They were in there for so long. This set that's in there now has been in there, I think we're three and a half years now on these ones that are in there. I got a set of Napa batteries in there. I think the more you use these batteries, not let them sit, I've found that they last a lot longer, which has always been the theory. Guys always will tell you if you use it more, it lasts longer, which is true. But back to these terminals, guys go back and forth with it, back and forth with it. Oh, it'll get hot. It'll melt the solder out. I got news for you. If that battery terminal is getting hot to melt the solder, you got more issues. So they're repaired, and that's how they're going to stay. So now we got it tuned up, and it still runs like crap. We've got a stuck injector. Number 3 injector is stuck, and it's just dumping fuel like crazy. So last night I ordered a set of injectors, 6 of them, off of Amazon. I know they're Taiwanese, and I know this. I don't have any good used ones laying around. I probably have a set. I don't know where they are, or I might throw them out. I really don't know. From moving, I'm still dealing with stuff. In about 2 weeks, we're going to empty this other building out that's packed full of all kinds of stuff. We're going to totally put everything in the driveway and go through every box and probably have a whole pickup truck load of trash. But we're going to find the rest of the tools and parts and equipment that is packed away. Like, I don't even know where the bench grinder is with the wire wheel and the grinder. I don't know where that is. I thought it would have been in the backside of this building where the tire machine and the other equipment is. No, it's not there. I don't even know where the AC machine is. I can't even see it. It's somewhere. So in about 2 weeks, I took some days off of the day job, and we're just going to empty that building out and go through all them boxes and put this building over here has an attic. We're going to put parts in plastic bins and put them up in the attic and get to all the other tools and stuff, and hopefully be able to put that stuff away. So in the meantime, they were $60 for a set of 6 of them on Amazon. I'm going to give them a try. There was a bunch of reviews. All the reviews were good. How true the reviews are, I don't know. Does Amazon make these reviews up? I don't know. Can you believe everything you read on the internet? I don't know. But it did have some good reviews. Like 1 or 2 was kind of crappy, but for the most part, it had good reviews. So I'm going to roll the dice for $60. If I put all 6 in there and she runs smooth, then it's a win-win. I don't want to spend $1 million on this motor, but at the same time, I need it to run for a while because we're going to leave it in there, get it tagged. We're going to do our lift, our 35s. We're going to do our soft top. We're going to do some other stuff to the truck, but we're going to leave a 6-cylinder. Probably, I don't know, middle of summer, end of summer. Who knows? If it runs good and it's got enough power, it's going to stay 6-cylinder for a while because I've got other projects going on. We got the Jeep J10 pickup we just bought. We want to do the same thing with it. Got to go through the brakes, make sure all the lights work so we can go get it tagged. We're going to lift it. A lot of guys have been itching for me to do some content on the tow truck. We are. I've got some stuff here for it. It needs a fuel pump, carburetor, get it up and running. Biggest thing is it needs 6 tires. And they're a little pricey. I'm going to get there. I've got some work. This is actually a little side job. It's actually done. I just got to go over it and then deliver it to the guy up north. It's a 96 Bronco that I did all the brakes and shock towers, all that stuff on back at the old ranch. I just towed in right there. That's a 16 Honda Pilot. It's got push button to take it out of park, put it in reverse, neutral drive. It's stuck in park. So I got to see what's going on with that. I got a van here that I got to finish putting the motor in. I got a little S10 truck over there that needs some work. I got a Ranger to pick up, put a motor in. Out on the other side of the yard over there is another car that's getting a motor. So we're going to knock out some work, generate a little bit of capital to put in this junk. But as of right now, we are up and running and moving and stopping and lights work. So we're halfway there. We did change, grabbed all the plastic out of the dash of the truck that we're going to take the 460 out of. So we kind of upgraded and we put in the wood grain trim because he had a hole drilled here, which was he had a toggle switch here so that it would turn the wipers on. He had the wrong knob on there, and then on the other side of the plastic he had a hole drilled with a push button start. So we got rid of all that mess down there. I got to just pull it through the firewall. That was where the wires went for the push button start that he had. Just got to pull that through. So we gave it the fancy XLT Lariat dash trim. The Lariat out back has got a gray gut. It's got really nice door panels are gray with a fabric line inside here, and they're roll-up window door panels. They're gray, but we're going to go ahead and put them on this truck because I got a set of bucket seats and a console out of a Bronco that was gray. The dash, we're going to leave it blue. I'm not really too worried about the dash. We're going for the ratty lifted truck look, and I think we achieved the ratty look. I think she'll be pretty cool. I picked up a set of 15 by 10 Mickey Thompson, old school Mickey Thompson wheels for it. I could pick them up from a buddy of mine tomorrow. So we got a set of wheels for it. Just got to break down and buy tires. I searched around a little bit today and last night for tires. I'm probably going to go ahead and I think I'm going to do eBay. I bought a set of tires off of eBay 6 months ago. Maybe in the fall. These were my eBay purchase tires on the 250. Ling Long, Ching Chang Wang. I don't know. They work good. They look good. The truck rolls down the road good. So I'm looking at a couple different ones right now. Tires have just gotten expensive. We're probably going to end up spending like $1,100 on tires on a $700 Bronco. The good thing about it is this thing has brand new 32 1250 15s. I mean, they're like brand new. I don't know how old they are, but they don't have flat spots or nothing in them. So those tires are going to find their way on my 96 short bed red and white F-150. That used to be my daily driver. I was going to put a 4-inch lift on it, but I think I'm just going to buy a 2-inch lift. Keep the truck somewhat. I don't need it to be a monster truck. I don't know yet. I'm back and forth with it. But for right now, those tires are going to go on that because the tires are on that are horrible. It's like I got 4 square tires on it. They're just horrible. I bought them used, and they got flat spots in them that just never worked their way out, and they're just horrible, horrible to ride in. So when I lift this, I'm going to put those on there. We don't use that truck that much. We might drive it once a month now. I used to drive it every single day, but now that I work 40-some miles from home, I bought the little Mercedes to run back and forth to work. So that's kind of like a toy now, so we'll do something with that truck. We'll do some content on it as well. This Bronco's a pretty nice truck. It's just a John Deere green. I don't know why somebody would paint it that color. Was how this guy bought it. It's actually a nice truck. I put spring towers in it, rear spring hangers, shackles, all the brake lines, all the brakes all the way around. It's a really nice truck. Tan interior. I think it's only got like 113 or 14,000 miles on it. It's a 5.8. It is an Eddie Bauer. It's a nice little truck. I got to get a couple little things straightened out on it and deliver it back to the guy, and it's done. So, unfortunately, it's not my truck. So, that's tonight's project. We'll get it up in the air, just go over it. I want to rebleed the brakes. They just don't feel 100% to me. Rebleed them, check the adjustment on them, and then that thing can go home. And then once that's out of here, we'll bring the Jeep in, the J10 pickup. Actually just moved it the other day across the driveway and a brake line blew out, which I already knew the brake lines were really, really shaky. When I bought the truck and we were loading on the car trailer, I noticed that the one brake hose was wet when we loaded it up. So I had a feeling, and I'm okay with it because I'd rather go through the brakes now before we take it through inspection and then have something go on with the brakes while it's over an inspection lane. In my state, I know some states, they bring the vehicle in, they actually put it on the lift and pull the wheels. My state, you drive into a building, they check all the lights, the horn, the wipers. Then they have, if the truck has the emissions test, they actually put a thing in the tailpipe, check the emissions. Then you drive, 3 car lengths, and you drive across these metal plates in the floor, and you stand on the brakes. That's how they check the brakes. Yeah, it's a great test. But if you stand on the brakes and brake line blows out, and one wheel don't work, it fails, which isn't a big deal. You just fix it and come back for recheck. It's not a big deal, but we all like to go over there, go through the test, and just be done. Because then you go inside for the paperwork and you sit there for 2 hours. It's a pain in the ass. But the actual going through the lanes is really not as bad as it sounds. I mean, you can get a real piece of junk to pass. I mean, you could get something with no floors and held together with baling wire to pass over there. I mean, it's kind of a joke. They're starting to get sticky about rust on the outside of the vehicle if it's got a hole, but you can put a piece of tape on it and they'll pass it. Put a piece of aluminum tape on it, it'll pass. So that's a plus as far as that goes, but it's a pain in the ass. So we want to get that Jeep ready to go. The Bronco, like I said, once we throw an injector in it, we're ready to go. I probably will just put a couple pieces of tape over the rust on the rear wheel wells, but that's actually acceptable in my state. We are, however, going to fix that rust. That rust I do want to fix, but we have no intentions of painting it. I have a fiberglass cowl hood that I'll put on it once we get tags on the truck. I have it, so I want to use it. I don't have another brick nose truck other than my mud truck, and my mud truck already has a cowl hood on it. So since I have a cowl hood and I have it just laying around, I'm going to use it. But I don't want to put it on until I go through because it's got to be all stock. So we should be fine. So I'm going to wrap the video up here for today. I had actually made a video this weekend, and somehow I got lost. I've been having issues with, I do most of my videos off of this phone, and it's real funny. You pay the phone off, and then it starts having problems. So I guess it's time to buy a new phone. But it's been losing videos, so hopefully this one will stick together and get it posted, and then we'll be good. So look, I'm going to get at it, get some stuff done. Holla at your boy. Keeps it reals.